Hello, everyone. Jax West from Stephen Avery Project, MAM Gossip, Justice with Jax. I was too lazy to put up the little banner thing behind me. So now you're seeing the back of my room here. Um, oh, get off of there. I need this so I can see your comments if anybody's here. I know this was a spur of the moment live, and there's my sexy girlfriend Miley and Bryce and John. Um, but I can't go live on Tuesday like I normally do because I'm going to be out of town Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Thursday, I could possibly go live on Thursday, and maybe we still will on that Thursday, but then I'm going to a concert Thursday night. And then Friday, I will be driving to Waupun, and we have the memorial at Waupun. So, and I wasn't sure what my day today was going to be like, uh, if I was going to have time to do a live. So I just finished writing my book. And so I finally just finished it today. And then I had said to Christopher, okay, I'm done with the book. I got time right now. Should I do a live? You know, I know it's way later than I normally do. And so here I am. I wanted to do a live, at least one this week, going into, since we have Dolores's memorial and the rally for Stephen this coming weekend. I have no idea what the turnout's gonna be. You can never go by a Facebook event because people will RSVP that they're going and they're not, or say they are going and then they don't. So don't know, but there'll be some of us there. I know Bryce is going to be there. Bryce is asking, are we dining tomorrow or Wednesday? Oh, did you still want to do something? I don't know, Bryce. I'm not leaving because I'm going with a friend of mine down. I'm going into Bryce's neck of the woods for Tuesday and Wednesday for some kind of a convention thing, and it's a 2.5 hour drive for me. And I think we're leaving at like 2:30 Red Lobster. And then we've got like a whole bunch of parties that we have to go to on Tuesday night. And then Wednesday, we've got the brunch in the morning. And then there's a luncheon. And then we'd be driving home. So I don't know for sure what's going on, Bryce, down there. Oh, Michelle will be there Friday at 3 p.m. So, on Friday, and we'll see how I'm getting there because literally had to take my car in to a dealership today because my car that I've only had for 6 months has been acting up, and then a lot of the car dealerships in my area are on strike, the mechanics. And so my husband then had to find a dealership that's not on strike for us to take my car into. And so I don't know. Luckily, I'm going with a friend on Tuesday and Wednesday, so he can drive if I don't have a car, but not sure how long they're going to have my car. And now if I'll have to rent a car to go to Waupun, I don't know. So we'll see. But so our memorial, and I don't even have my notes up here that I usually bring up here when I know I'm doing a live to go over everything. So the hotel that we are staying at is the American in Waupun, which is really close to the prison, and check-in is at 3 o'clock. So I'm planning on getting there around check-in time, and then it'll be hanging out. I've got on the itinerary that there would be like a meet and greet time, and that we could all go out to dinner together, and so hanging out until then we go and do the memorial, which will be at 8 p.m. Central Time on Friday. So it is currently 3:36 p.m. in Central Time. So do your math. That'll be 8 p.m. So, and we will do a live here on Stephen Avery Project during the memorial for those of you who can't make it. I want the people who are in attendance for you to say some words about Dolores. So that's what will be on the live for Wednesday night, is what we do at the memorial. They are calling for a chance of rain both Friday and Saturday. So those of you who are going to be attending, be prepared to be outside in the rain. You know, have your rain gear or umbrella, which also makes me happy. Hi, Carrie. That I went with these LED little tea lights instead of lighting candles. That then my husband painted them purple. Ooh, and I have to talk to him because so Christopher, you should post it this time. So our moderator Christopher makes soap and makes all kinds of cleaner. I could grab, you know, so he does toilet bombs and bath bombs and all this stuff. So he made a bunch of these purple, because purple is Dolores's favorite color, and they're lilac scented. And then my husband, who owns a print shop, I want him to make a sticker that would just, you know, say rest in peace, Dolores Avery, or whatever, that will go on all of these. So people who attend the memorial will get a thank you from Christopher, and he's got an Etsy shop. So that he never ever wants to promote himself. I'm sure it's also because he doesn't want people thinking that's, you know, we all get attacked if you do anything like we're trying to use this for ourselves. But so Christopher has been nice enough to do this. What are you trying to say to me, stupid?
I'm not sure I understand.
I didn't tell you to do anything, watch. And so now from this as well, there is somebody who wants to remain anonymous, who initially all they had done, like it's nothing. They donated money for me to get flowers for the memorial, which, you know, so I've been looking at florists at first, and now I'm thinking a thing that I would like to do more than just buying cut flowers is maybe going to a nursery and getting real plants and putting together something myself that are, you know, in their pots and stuff still. And then people who attend could end up going home with some of it. But now I'm going to have to do that on Thursday, the one day that I'm home before I have to go back down. But so the memorial is this Friday, which is Dolores's birthday. 8 p.m. is when we will be live here on Stephen Avery Project. Then the next day, Saturday, the people who are attending, we can go out to breakfast together if we all want to, or those of us who are staying at the American, they, you know, you get the free complimentary breakfast thing there, and they have the breakfast room, so we could all meet there if people want to do that instead. And then we will have the rally at Waupun at 1 p.m. Central Time until 3 p.m. is what we have it scheduled for. We may not be there the full 2 hours. It's going to depend on the weather and all of that. So we will be live for an hour of that. Not sure. Maybe what we should do is if, you know, so it's starting at 1, so probably would start closer to like 1:15. And so when I went live from it last year when we did this rally, we I walked around the whole prison and stuff and showed you what the prison looks like. Oh, Christopher says we've just been advised that our hotel is fully sold out. Okay. Um, because Christopher is the one that booked our hotel and did all that, did all the legwork for that. So we will do the live where y'all will be able to see what's going on there. I'll show you the prison. Last time I walked completely around the whole prison just to, show people. And you can find that in our videos here in the page if you go through and look at that. So and then people who are in attendance, if they want to say something on the video or whatever, we'll just, you just play that by ear. And then I had scheduled, so the American that we're staying at has a pool. So I'm like, so like 3:30ish or whatever, we can have some pool time and then do a dinner, go out to dinner. And then we would be doing a happy hour at 8 p.m. Where then I would have people who are in attendance of the happy hour in person that we will just talk about what the two events were like and then talk about the case and all of that. Oh, and see, I don't have my notes with me, and also, my brain's always so scattered. So the person who donated the money for the flowers, when they found out about Christopher's Etsy shop, then they were like, I would like to get some stuff from Christopher and donate it for a raffle, and that the money goes to Steven. And so that's kind of morphed into, and it's downstairs, and I'm not going to run down and get it. So Christopher also makes the wax tarts that you melt, that have these awesome scents. So she ordered a bunch of those from Christopher, and Christopher is throwing in some other stuff in with that. And then there is a warmer thing, a Scentsy warmer. And I haven't decided if I'm going to paint it or not, because, I like things to be purple because of Dolores. But right now what it looks like is it's just silver, but it's got angel wings and a heart in the middle of it. And I just thought that was, because when I think of Dolores now, I just really think of the angel that's gonna be looking over Steven, who you can see behind me in that painting behind me. If you can see that painting, my tattoo artist, I had him paint me something, I said, just paint me something making a murderer, and so that's that painting behind me that's got the gavel and Steven and Brendan. So now we've got this gift basket thing that will have the burner and all this stuff that we have to raffle off for money for Steven. And this person again doesn't want any acknowledgement for what they've done, but we can thank Christopher for his part in it. And I don't know how we're working that auctioning, raffling that up. I haven't thought about that. So be on the lookout for that I just think is pretty fabulous. Stickers that Christopher always wants me to remind people of. So we started with this sticker. I've also got the fan here. So this fan. So when Christopher and I were first talking about doing this rally, we and talking about wanting to do things to thank the people who have attended. And since I have a husband who owns a print shop, it's like, okay, I have them make these stickers that people can put on their car or wherever you want. You don't, mine's on my back window, but you can, use them for whatever you want. And then also with like last year when we did it, it was so hot. So I'm like, this thing is two things in one where, it's a sign, but it's also, it does work. It really does work. Um, so it's just got the free Stephen Avery on one side, and then this free Stephen Avery Never Give Up with the Phoenix that my husband designed for a logo for Stephen a couple years ago. So came up with these to just give away. And then we had posted the sticker, and then that got people all over the place saying they wanted to purchase the sticker, um, which always makes me uncomfortable because, Steven doesn't want people making any money off of him or his name or his likeness. So we started a Justice with Jax Etsy shop that these stickers are on, and then we're only selling them for $1. And then there's also multi-packs of five for $4, and 10 for something or another. I don't do numbers. Rachel, the fans and the stickers are free for people in attendance while it lasts. I've got 50 of each. So, I don't think we'll have 50 people. So you should be safe, but 50 while supplies last. So the stickers on there for $1, and then plus whatever little shipping or whatever. And so that's not making any money off of this at all. Actually, my husband, I don't know if he's even watching this, did not make my husband happy because that doesn't even cover what this costs. Because obviously I didn't have to pay to have these done. I just say, Jeff, hey, this is what I want, and he made them for, and he is a union print shop, by the way, for those of you who care about union made stuff. So while these don't have a union bug on them, he is a union shop. So up until the rally, they're gonna remain the $1. But after the rally, they're gonna go up to $2.50. So get them now. Christopher, I messaged Christopher today because I mailed out somebody's order, and so I sent, because he makes a lot of the posts on Stephen Avery Project and MAM Gossip, and so he likes to make posts about the stickers or whatever. And so I sent him today, since I was filling that one order, how many stickers have sold. And see, again, I'm really bad with the numbers. I want to say it was like 262. And then I put it in alphabetical order because I'm obsessive like that. All the different places that it went to. So he can make a post letting you all know all the places from around the world that I have sent them out to. And so anybody who has placed an order, everything has been sent out. I do not know how long it's going to take to get anywhere. It's just stickers. So I didn't spend it or send it any special shipping. It is just regular mail. So if something happens and you do not get your order, please let me know. But they're just coming in a regular 292. See, I said 62. That's how bad I am. Thank you, Christopher, for posting that. The couple of other stickers that we have on there right now in the Etsy shop is the Justice with Jax Vagina Bat. There's the free Brendan Dassey with the Dragonfly. Brendan's favorite colors are green and orange. That's why that's green and orange. My regular Justice with Jax with the Monarch. And then this one, I think I'm going to end up having Jeff make a new one of this because it's really hard to read. But this is a Monarch that says Justice for Melissa. and then it says Melissa's Army inside of it, but you really can't read it, so it's not good in advocating for Melissa to go on somebody's car, because I mean, and I have my glasses on and everything, and it's harder to read. So those stickers are in there, and then I also came up with a whole bunch of ideas on other stickers and sent them to Jeff, but haven't really worked with him on that. So you'll just have to pay attention to the Etsy store, and Christopher will make posts and let you know when new stuff is there too. And if you have ideas for stickers that you think we should do, let me know. And it doesn't have to, that's also why I titled it the Justice with Jax Etsy shop. Like, I've got the Melissa sticker there. We can cover other cases, we can cover other injustices, whatever. So I had a whole bunch of ideas that I sent to Jeff a week ago, but things have been kind of crazy for me lately. So yeah. Oh, and then something else I have that people at the rally will get, and that's what that bag is that's hanging up on my door right there, is the 40 something of the masks that I made last year for the rally. So those will be coming, and people can get those too at the rally. Whether or not I sell them, I don't know. Oh, Joe Exotic stickers. Teresa says, whatever happened to Marnie? I am no longer with that case, Teresa. Um, and as far as I know, it is still just like every other case. It is just waiting for something in court. So, but Marnie is just another one of those cases that she's absolutely innocent. Coerced confession, doctoring evidence, everything. So, and Marnie Yang, that is a somewhat famous case because Sean Gale from the 85 Super Bowl Shuffle Chicago Bears is involved in that case. So, because Marnie had been dating Sean Gale, and it's Sean Gale's pregnant girlfriend that was murdered by Sean Gale. Sean Gale hired someone. And that's what I have to say about that. Yeah, Teresa, that's, they brought me onto that case for me to be handling the social media stuff and doing all that. So then without me, the balls dropped. Thank you, Donna. Do I do podcasts for other cases? Well, Mildred, we have the Justice with Jax page and group that we can talk about other cases. That's where I will talk about the Melissa Kaluzinski case, and we've done other cases on there. I haven't done anything really lately, but we can. And that's something that if somebody has a case they really want us to rip into, and look into, throw that suggestion out to us. But that's why I started the Justice with Jax, because we can cover other cases there. Here on Stephen Avery Project, if I start talking about another case, then people go, why are you talking about that? What does it have to do with Stephen? So Justice with Jax is where we have discussed other cases. But I will slip in here on occasion, not on occasion, all the time, Melissa Kaluzinski, because she is another client of Kathleen Zellner, and I adore Melissa, and I want her case to get attention as well. And as I said at the beginning of this video, I did literally just finish writing my book on Stephen Avery case. Actually, but it's not the Stephen Avery case, it's my experience in being involved in the Stephen Avery case. So, I did include a chapter on Melissa Kaluzinski, even because it's on, you know, my experience in advocating for the wrongfully accused. So you, there's a chapter on Melissa. So, but when this book comes out, if you don't want to hear about Melissa, skip that chapter. Melissa Kaluzinski, Calusinski. That's Marnie Yang that we were just talking about. And that's Melissa Kaluzinski. And that's Stephen Avery. Um. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that, Kevin, that you said looking forward to having me on the show next Tuesday. So it's something I haven't gotten your email yet on it. But so he's got a podcast and he messaged Stephen Avery Project on yesterday. And he had asked if I would be a guest on his show tomorrow night. But I'm going to be out of town. So it's looking like next Tuesday is when I will be on his show. So when I get the information all on that and how you guys will be able to watch it, Christopher will make a post and you guys can tune in to that next week. And also what is happening next week is, so not this coming Friday. So this coming Friday, we're doing the Dolores Memorial. Friday after that is when whatever is being filed, this remitter thing in Stephen's case. And so the thing that I always say to y'all is, again, I'm not the lawyer. I don't, and with me, Melissa's case, and there was also Marnie's case and all this stuff. I could never remember whose case is where and what it does. I am not the legal mind. So we will find out next Friday something happening with Stephen's case. And maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's just cleaning something up, odds and ends. But so Tuesday will be when I'm on the podcast, and that's at night, I believe. And then sometime Friday, if there is something that is filed, we get it as soon as we can, and then I go live here on Stephen Avery Project and we read through it and discuss it. So this week is Memorial and Rally. Next week I'll be on that show, and whatever the filing is on the Friday. And somebody also reached out to me that has some YouTube thing and they want me to be on that, but I don't know any details on that or if that's happening or what. So sorry, repeat, I missed it. Mildred, if you're looking for the other page, it is called Justice with Jax. Here, Jeff made me this a while ago too. Justice with Jax. This is a mouse pad thing. Justice with Jax. It's quite convenient having a husband who owns a print shop. I don't know what that was. Oh, Christopher sent a photo. Let's see what Christopher says. Only 2 hotels are left open for this weekend. In Town Motel, INN Town Motel, and Baymont by Wyndham Waupun. So those are the 2 that are left if anybody is looking for someplace to stay that is joining us. Any other questions? What else is there to discuss? Is there anything else to discuss right now? I have not, for anybody that's going to ask, I have not heard from Steven. He only called me that one time. I have not heard from him again. So we'll see when or if I hear from him. Um okay, it keeps scrolling, but then there's nothing there. That I'm like, okay, did somebody else say something? Friday, Memorial, 8 p.m. Saturday, rally, 1 p.m. That is Central Time, Chicago time. Even though it's Wisconsin, that's still Central Time Zone. What happened to the lady that was working on Marnie case? I have no idea. She and I parted ways. Memorial will be live. We will live stream when we have people who are going to talk about Dolores. So we will do a live stream. Oh, I guess we just got another sticker order, Christopher says. Because Christopher, I have him running, he runs everything. So he's also the Etsy shop. He's Justice with Jax, all that. So I don't know what's happened to I know she's still involved in Marnie's case. She just, like I said, I was brought on to be the one to do the social media stuff. And so we've parted ways, and I don't follow any of it. When Marnie's case pops up in the news, I check out what's happening because I still believe in Marnie's innocence and I want her free. And I don't have any ill will or anything towards Marnie. But I don't know anything that's going on with the people behind the scenes on that. What else? What else? But yeah, we'll live stream some of the memorial. We'll live stream some of the rally. We will do a live on Saturday night, happy hour thing at night, where then we'll ask the people who attended to talk about the two events, how it made them feel. And then they can also talk about the case or talk about what their theories are. It'll be open discussion. So, and then Christopher will also make threads in both Stephen Avery Project as well as MAM Gossip, because I'm asking all of you that I want you to make a shirt. And by making a shirt, it means, buy yourself a plain t-shirt and use markers and decorate and write something to show your support of Stephen or a tribute to Dolores, or make a sign that you hold up and take a picture, and I want you to post it in those threads and also include where you're from. We also have a page that is titled RIP Dolores Avery, and so that is a time capsule for Stephen for when he is free. So you have to join the page because we need to be able to easily block any trolls. But we want you to post something nice about Dolores, so when Stephen is free, he has a place to go to see that. Okay, Bryce, I'll talk to you about that. Teresa's saying, I read somewhere that Stephen does not get a new trial. Don't listen to that. Nobody knows what's going to happen. People can assume, but you don't know. And will he get an evidentiary hearing? Will he get a new trial? Will whatever? And the way the system works is it's going through one court, and you have to fully exhaust everywhere the case has to go on that evidence that was submitted, and get declined in all those, to then either take it out of that court to go to higher level, or you start all over again with new evidence. So the thing just always remember is in the States, our system sucks. And Kathleen says it typically takes her 15 years to free somebody who's wrongfully convicted. And she has only had the case since 2016. So while Stephen has been incarcerated since 2005, Kathleen has only been on the case since 2016. So his 15 years, I mean, you're only 5 years in to Kathleen having the case. And it taking this long, I know there's people that then doubt Kathleen Zellner, or they say that she's leaving the case or whatever. No, it's just the way this process works that it takes this long. It sucks. It's horrible. So, and you think it's bad for you, imagine being Stephen and having to sit in prison throughout all of this. So, and every time I have talked or visited with Stephen, he's got a positive outlook. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, of course there's going to be days when he's going to be down in the dumps. But overall, the guy stays very positive. So if he can stay positive, then we all can stay positive. You know? So I just go, Kathleen Zellner has freed, what is her number? 21? I think she has freed 21. So she is the attorney that has freed the most. You know, you don't count like Innocence Project, where that's, you know, how many different lawyers in how many different states. This is one firm that is Kathleen and then her associate Doug. Doug is great too. Doug Johnson. It's these two against the world. And so she is the best. If you are wrongfully accused, you want Kathleen Zellner. So I have faith in her. I don't know the law. I'm not going to second guess her. And I assume she knows way more than we do. And what she's put out in any filing she's done, I'm sure she's got stuff that she holds back. Because again, you gotta, you know, when they shoot one down and then you have to start all over again, you have to have new evidence. Samantha, do you still get harassed by Carla and the rest of the family? Absolutely, I do. The book that I just wrote is a lot about that. So I am just somebody that supports Stephen's innocence and Brendan's innocence, and the way that the Avery family comes after me. Because not everybody is in it for the right reasons. So, yes, I still deal with it to this day. I mean, even the upcoming rally that we have somebody who calls around the area trying to block us from going anywhere. You know, booking hotels and such. That's the extent these people go to. And why? We are the biggest support page of Steven Avery, with over 200,000 people who follow this page. There's things that we post here that has over 1 million people who have viewed it. Where can you get my book, Diane? I literally just finished writing it today. And it just got sent out to a couple different editors, proofreaders, or whatever. I've got 3 different people who want to read it and fix it and all that. So it just got sent out to them today. My book is, because I wrote it down every time I would write for a couple hours. When I would finish, I would write down how many pages the book has and how many words. So I ended at 257 pages, 75,625 words. So I don't know how long it's going to take those three people to read my, do you call it a manuscript? One person is Christopher. So who knows the case? The other two, one of them saw Making a Murderer, but they don't follow anything. And then the other one doesn't know the case at all. So we'll see how long it takes all of them to read it and to give me their input on what needs to be fixed and whatever, and then we'll go from there. Let me scroll back. Yes, Terry, long story between me and the Avery family, which, can I be that person now where I'm like, it's in my book. Our subgroup that we have, MAM Gossip, a lot of that information is in there. And we've done lots of live videos in there because that kind of stuff is like the dirt around the case. So that's why we have the subgroup MAM Gossip. And so that's when I get into all of that. So, yeah, it's been ugly between me and the family since 2016. But we were friends initially, and then it not so much. Scott's asking Netflix doing any more seasons on this. My standard answer for that is when there is something new, substantial with the case, I'm sure they will cover it. Because, look how big Making a Murderer was. And part 2 did well also. So, but there's just nothing now to make a third season about. I mean, us and MAM Gossip know, there's a lot you could do if you're going to get into the dirt. But that's not what those documentarians do. So, but if Stephen is to get another trial or evidentiary hearing or released, I'm sure the documentarians will be there to cover it. So, but as of right now, there's, nothing on the schedule for it. So, but reminder I like to do when people ask me about any more seasons, just remember that this is a real story and these are real people that are dealing with it. And so I know there's people who really like the show, but it's a true story and our system sucks and years go by with nothing happening. Sharon asks, does his kids talk to him? Some more than others. Terry says, why hasn't Brendan been released? Because our system sucks. And at one time, Brendan's case was overturned. And it was at the 7th Circuit of Appeals here in Chicago. And when it was on the 3-judge panel, they agreed with the judge with overturning his conviction. And so then the state called for what is called an en banc. And that means all of the judges, not just 3 are chosen randomly. And so now when it was the full panel of judges on the 7th Circuit, they went back to the original decision that Brendan was not coerced into a false confession. So Brendan, they're pretty much on his case just hoping that he can get clemency, that the governor will pardon him. But the governor has already said no to that. So I think Brendan, it needs something to happen in Stephen's case. But see, watch Dream Killer. I believe it's still on Netflix, Dream Killer. That's another case of Kathleen Zellner's. That's the Ryan Ferguson case. One guy confessed and he took Ryan Ferguson down with him. Ryan Ferguson always said he was innocent. They got Kathleen Zellner. She freed Ryan Ferguson. The guy that confessed is still in prison. So just because if Stephen was able to be released, it doesn't mean Brendan gets out. Because there are people, which this is not true either, but think that Stephen's confession is true. He's just covering for Bobby. That you replace Stephen's name with Bobby's name, and then that's what Brendan did. And that absolutely is not true. Brendan can't harm a fly. So, but Brendan confessed. We all know it's a coerced confession. We know Brendan didn't do those things, but in the eyes of our crappy law, he confessed. So he's got a harder road than Stephen does. I'm scrolling. Natalie, just a live talking, since we've got the memorial and the rally coming this weekend, and this is the day, because I'm going out of town tomorrow. I'll be gone Tuesday and Wednesday. So I'm like, all right, I have a little window right now, so I'll hop on and go live. Hi, Betty. See translation. Sorry, Corin. Yeah, it's hard in and I can't speak any other languages. So, more power to you all. That even when you speak broken English, I can't speak broken French. So you're way ahead of me. And thumbs up, Nana. System sucks. No, Polly, I have not talked to Stephen lately. I talked to him the week after his mom passed. He was doing okay, rightfully upset, but he's doing okay. I am in Illinois, and that's where I'm in a Chicago suburb, and that's where, Michelle, if you were talking about the Seventh Circuit of Appeals, yeah, that's in Chicago in Illinois. Oh, Wisconsin governor of Illinois. It's the Wisconsin governor that Brendan needs clemency from. Sharon. So that would be Laura Nyrider. And I thought the first time we were at the Seventh Circuit, when it was just the 3-judge panel, because I attended both of those hearings, I thought Laura Nyrider did a good job for the 3-judge panel, but I agree that I was surprised when she was in front of the whole panel. I didn't think she did as good a job. I still have complete faith in Laura Nyrider. I think she is a phenomenal lawyer. And one of my favorite parts in Making a Murderer is when you see Brendan in court. Not that it's fun to see Brendan in court, but then I think Brendan is sitting at the table, and Nyrider comes in and she goes to sit down next to Brendan, and the smile he gets on his face at seeing Laura. Oh my God, that can tear me up right now. I am comforted when I see people that make Brendan feel good. And I know Laura Nyrider is somebody who truly cares for Brendan. Something else you could watch for another case is Paradise Lost. That is an HBO documentary. There are 3 Paradise Lost that were updated through the years. And that's the case of the West Memphis 3. And Laura Nyrider represented Damien Echols, who actually was sentenced to death row before they took the Alford plea so they could save Damien's life, basically. So it is clear Laura Nyrider's passion for juveniles that are wrongfully convicted. So, but I agree that I don't think she did a good job at the unbunk. Oh, see, Christopher speaks a whole bunch of languages, so now he just answered the in French. Yep, took 18 years for Steven the first time. I gosh. Can you imagine? I don't want to imagine what it would be like to lose 18 years and then they do it to you again. The same people do it to you again. Cindy, I am in love with Bill Ferguson. That guy, if you've never seen Dream Killer, and we've done a Facebook Live, did we do it on Justice with Jax? Or maybe we did it in MAM Gossip, that we watched Dream Killer. If I said Dreamcatcher, it's because Stephen, my whole bookshelves up here are all Stephen King books. It's Dream Killer. Watch that and watch Bill Ferguson. That is what family should be like for when their loved one is wrongfully convicted. Bill Ferguson. Wow. He is unbelievable. Oh, Michael in Ireland. John, I see what you're saying about Brendan could have heard. I know so many people will say that. I just go off of one, what we see in Making a Murderer, and then two, before things went bad between me and Barb, I used to talk to Brendan every week on the phone. And so, from my experience in talking to Brendan, there is no way that kid could cover up a lie like this. So like the lie that Kayla talks of when that she made up about Brendan and that he was crying because of the case, da da da, that would be real if Brendan actually knew something. There is no way. And there is no way if Brendan knew Bobby killed some girl that he would let his own brother get away with that. Brendan can't hurt anything. Nothing. And you would be able to see everything all over his face. You just would. And with his IQ level and all of that, the kid is not going to be able to cover this up, that it wouldn't come out in some way. So it's just not. No, I just, there's no way to me that Brendan knows anything. And then even to this day, that's why his mother is so desperate to control who Brendan can talk to. You know, so the only people she approves of are people who are going to parrot what she wants him to know. And keep him separated from all that. So right now, as of right now, Brendan will defend Bobby of why are people being mean to my brother, if that would even come to him. If he's, you know, Barb prevents so much from getting to Brendan. Joe says, is Steven getting out? Well, that would be nice, knock on wood, but I don't think anytime soon. No, we're still waiting for this stupid process. Um, how many times has Barb visited Brendan in the last 10 years? 433 times. I have Stephen and Brendan's visitors lists from 2010 up until COVID, 2020. So Barb visited Brendan 433 times in those 10 years. Pete Dassey, 350. Lori Dassey, Stephen's ex-wife, who's now married to Brendan's dad, 64 times. Scott Taddock, 119 times. Bobby, 21. Blaine, 22. Brad, 6. Carla Chase, who thinks that she's the family spokesperson, has visited him 33 times in 10 years. Dolores visited him 13 times. And Alan Avery visited Brendan once. So, yeah. Um, Michael asked, "Do I still think the cop who called in the plate is guilty of anything?" Absolutely. I think he was looking at the RAV4 when he called in that plate. Mm-hmm. Oh, don't worry about your spelling, Joe. Betty will never believe that Stephen murdered Teresa. Just doesn't make sense. Yeah, there's that's the only thing I can say for sure in this case is Stephen and Brendan are innocent. Everything else is suspect. Everyone else is suspect. While I think it was Bobby Dassey with an assist from Scott Toddock and cops planting evidence, if it turned out Ryan Hilgast was the killer, I'd be like, oh, I didn't think that what it was, but okay. Um, to me, all the evidence points to Bobby Dassey, but there is nothing to say that Stephen is guilty. Everything they allegedly have is suspect, starting with Manitowoc should have never touched this case. Sherry Culhane, the lab person who was involved in the Penny Bernstein case, never should have been the one handling evidence. All of it, everything is suspect. Dalton asks, when will they be free? It could be years. Yep, Brendan doesn't have the capacity to do it, to cover up anything. Yay, Mary! Got 2 stickers. Yep, Kiss the Girls is a real book. Do I have it? I don't know if I have that book. Um, Real book. Um, and a movie. Bobby Dassey lives by his mom. He's still right there in Manitowoc. Or, um, I have his address. You can Google and get his address. Um, but yeah, no, Bobby is still there, but he left social media after making a murderer and everything came out. So, um, he's got multiple homes. You can even if you Google, you can see his home. Oh, Laura Nyrider, how many times has she visited in the last 10 years? That I don't know. I don't have access to that. Um, yeah, because lawyer visits are different than regular visits, so I don't know if you can file a FOIA to get that, but yeah, no, I have no idea how many times Laura Nyrider's been there. Yeah, Bobby has visited Brendan 21 times in 10 years. Basically, his mom makes him go for holidays or for a photo op. Dalton, not a good chance to visit with Steven. We have a post where it has the address on where you could write to Steven. So that's where you would have to start is, start writing to Steven in I don't but a visitors list, he's only allowed X amount of people on his list. And once somebody is on the list, they're on for 6 months and he can't make any changes for 6 months. So, um, so it's not like somebody can just go, I'm going to be in town, I want to go visit him. You can't do that. And with it being in COVID, I don't know what visits are like at Stevens prison, but here at the Illinois prison, I have to schedule it online at least a week in advance before you're going to go. And that I'm on that person's visitors list and all that. So I don't think, Dalton, that there's a good shot. But write to Steven and start a relationship that way. Okay. Sorry, I'm scrolling to read stuff. Does Steven's dad ever go see him anymore? No, he hasn't, because remember, we've had COVID, so there were no visits for a year and a half. And visits just started back at the prison last month, but Alan's in failing health, that he's older, and the driving to get there is hard on the body. And then the chairs they have you sit on, sitting in there is hard on you. So it's not easy for Alan to do that visit. So I don't know that, he can really make that trip. And then Alan is hard of hearing, so I don't think he really talks on the phone much. So sadly, yeah, I don't think there's an easy way for the two of them to communicate. Natalie thinks Hilgis and the brother were involved, planting evidence and helping the cops. Yeah, there's a lot suspicious there. Don't get me started, Emily. I hear ya. Autumn's asking, did KZ ever comment on the old man in the background during security checkpoint in MAM1, the theory of the serial killer? I believe she has made a tweet at some point that it's not Edward Wayne Edwards. I know there are some people who think that. I don't think that person is in that shot is Edward Wayne Edwards. And I saw the documentary on him as well, and I really just can't buy that every famous case there is happens to be Edward Wayne Edwards. Ooh, Debbie. Yeah, my car is actually at the shop. So, because I've got other stickers I want to put on, but I'm like, all right, it's at the shop, and are they going to wash it after that? So I'll put the rest of my stickers on whenever I get it back. Michelle, I feel really bad for Teresa's family as well. And something I talk about all the time when I do these lives is people will judge the Halbach family for not showing any emotion. And I give them the benefit of the doubt on that don't know how they were raised. Suck it up. Don't cry. Don't, do that stuff in public. So I'm not going to judge them on that, but where I will judge them is I get it when this case actually happened and just believing what law enforcement says, because so many of us prior to making a murderer are like, you have no reason to think cops are bad, right? So you're going to believe the cops are doing their job. But once Making a Murderer came out, and don't give me the crap that I'm not even going to watch it. Absolutely, if there's some documentary on the murder of my family member, I'm going to watch it. I would then watch it, and you're seeing evidence you've never seen. Don't tell me they were in court, because I don't care what a jury says. A jury doesn't get all the evidence. So much stuff gets suppressed, and you don't get to see everything when you're in court. So I absolutely would have watched Making a Murderer, and that would have made me go, what the smurf? And I would have to start looking at things. And like Penny Bernstein, when DNA proved it was not Steven, that she looked Steven in the eye and said, it was you. You did this to me. To now go, whoops. He just lost 18 years of his life, lost his wife, lost his 4 children, his 1 stepchild, lost everything because of Penny Bernstein saying, you did this to me. But then when this comes up with Teresa Halbach, Penny Bernstein is one of the people right away going, oh, look at what Steven did. Not even a second thought about it, that maybe Manitowoc was doing it to Steven again. So if I was the Halbach family, I absolutely would have done the same thing many of us did. I watched Making a Murderer, and then when it ended, I'm like, where's this case now? Is he still in prison? What's happened? And then you fall down, you end up at Reddit That's what I did in December of 2015. I'd never been to Reddit before in my life. I'd never even heard of Reddit. Um, Ended up at Reddit, started reading and finding and digging and all that. And the more you look, the worse this looks in this framing of Stephen. The more evidence that comes out to show that Stephen is innocent. Oh, it's a one sided documentary and you don't get to hear everything. Yeah, you don't get to hear everything. How long is that documentary supposed to be? Of course, you have to edit things out. And so the things that are edited out still show Stephen is innocent. Mm-hmm. Natalie says Bobby has multiple homes, but no criminal record, not even a speeding ticket. Oh, he's an angel, Bobby. Oh, Terry. I'm so sorry, Terry. Well, there's been cases. Um, I just watched. See, I record Dateline 2020, 48 hours, or whatever they are. And so the one that was just on this past weekend was a 4-year-old girl was murdered. And this guy went to prison for X amount of years. And it turns out wrongful, forced confession. And the mother of that child now believes this guy is innocent. That's what you would think anybody would want. You want what really happened to your loved one. You want that justice. You want that closure. I don't want just any narrative. Just get somebody, anybody. I want somebody to take the blame for this. No, I want the person who did it punished for what they did. And also, by not looking into it, who knows what else they've done while they've been free and Stephen and Brendan have been in prison. Look at the Penny Bernstein case. By Penny and everybody else saying, yep, it's Stephen, the real guy raped other women. And who knows, I'm sure there's other stuff he did that nobody knows about. So it bothers me when guilters try to say that we don't care about Teresa Halbach. We're the ones that care about justice for Teresa Halbach. We want whoever hurt her punished. If evidence showed that it was Stephen and or Brendan, I absolutely would be saying that. Stephen's not my family. Doesn't matter to me one way or another if he's guilty or innocent. Doesn't change my life at all. I'm following the facts. The facts show that Stephen and Brendan are innocent. Samantha, what happened to Lynn Hartman? She's a guilter now. So when she did the whole plot to become Stephen's fiance, she was still married, and she's to a cop, and she's still with that guy. And so she's like, still around, posting claiming Stephen is guilty. Idiot. Mary says, where is Al living? Al spends most of his time in Crivets, up in northern Wisconsin. So when you watch Making a Murderer and, he's at his garden and he talks about fishing and all that stuff, that's the house up in Crivets. That's Alan's happy place. And then he sometimes goes back to the salvage yard. But Alan has not owned the salvage yard. One report had said 1999 is when he sold the salvage yard to Chuck. But then Chuck posted here on Stephen Avery Project that he's owned it since 1990. So Alan hasn't owned the salvage yard in a long, long time. So he's mostly in Crivets. Dalton, we have a post here. It's a pinned post that's got his address. You can find it. It's very easy on the page. Um, in the announcements. Yes, Debbie. Nothing new, Shelly. Just popping in for, I was trying to go live once a week leading up to the rally and the memorial. And this is the day that I have free to pop on here. So the video started with us talking again, reminding people about the memorial and the rally is this coming weekend. And now I've just been answering questions. And once I get down to the bottom of all these questions, we'll end this video. Yeah, I agree with you, Kathy. I would want to know the truth. Jane, they accepted those bones as well. That's a big, major one to me. When you have Kratz saying that these aren't the bones you're looking for, let's not pay attention to the bones that are at the gravel pit. We don't even know if they're human. Why were those bones given to the Halbach family? And then why we're seeing in the latest ruling them saying the family wants closure, that they probably got it for closure. What's closure about bones that aren't hers? That's what the state alleges. The state alleges that Stephen never left the salvage yard. So if Stephen never left the salvage yard, why are bones at the gravel pit? The gravel pit is not what's bordering the salvage yard. That's the quarry. That's the Redant quarry. The gravel pit is owned by Manitowoc, and that's even farther away. So what closure is needed by these bones that Kratz is testifying in court is not Teresa Halbach? And we don't even know if they're human, this pelvic bone. Also, you have the state saying to Kathleen they will give her this so she can do her own testing. And asking for it and getting the runaround to then find out years ago you gave it away. But you're telling her you'll give it to her, but you gave it away 5 years prior to this. When somebody is incarcerated, you can't give away the evidence, especially something like bones where DNA changes all the time. That's how people are freed. More than likely, that's how people get out is DNA. So you can't get rid of bones. Here, just take these. And so for the Halbach family to accept these bones that were said in court are not Teresa by the state, why did you take those bones? To me, that was covering up evidence. You destroyed evidence. Because even if, now we don't know what happened with those bones. They were delivered to the funeral home. All right, I have done videos of Teresa's grave. So even if she has been cremated and there's bones that are buried, you cannot separate any of the bones at this point. So it's all tainted. You can never get those bones back and test them that these were this bones. So they were hiding evidence and they know it. Sorry, people, that I didn't get to your questions. At a certain point, it just starts scrolling up and doesn't let me go back. Oh, you're talking to somebody else saying, where can you find their findings? What about the excused juror that thought Stephen was innocent? Yeah, there was a lot of suspicious things going on there. Richard Mahler, that his stepdaughter got into a car accident and how quickly Manitowoc was on the scene. So did they want him off the jury because he wasn't going to go their way? Shelley. Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely. I totally understand the Halbach family originally thinking Stephen is guilty. But there's so much out there that shows he's not. Terry, oh gosh, these crooked cops now. A lot of them have retired in like Lank is in Arizona. Lank's got cancer. A lot of them have cancer, don't they? That I recall. I hope it's painful. Um, but yeah, I believe Lank's got cancer. But then some of them have been promoted and are now sheriff and but that's why when putting on my political hat, it's important to vote. It's important to vote every election, not just the presidential election. You need to be looking at who's running for sheriff, who's running for state's attorney, who's running for coroner. All that matters. Who's running for governor? You know, when you have a governor who won't free wrongfully convicted, all that. So you need to be paying attention to who's running for office. Oops. Sorry, people's. I started to read people's stuff and now it just scrolled up and I can't get back. Mendoza, yes, Kathleen is still on the case. Um, mm, Sorry, as it's quiet as I'm scrolling through trying to read people's stuff if there's anything that I need to address. Natalie, the RAV4 is another thing that bothers me so much on that they won't give it to Kathleen to do her own tests on. Why? So that has to lead you to believe that A, there's stuff they don't want her to find. B, they don't have it anymore. But how is that legal that they don't have to give her the car to do her own independent testing? And this again is DNA. You're claiming that that is Stephen's blood in the front of the car. You're claiming there's Teresa's blood in the back of the car. And then you're claiming Stephen's sweat DNA, which there's no such thing as sweat DNA, that his sweat DNA is on the hood latch. DNA. Again, you have to keep anything in evidence as long as somebody's incarcerated. That is DNA. Our science changes. Science. Facts. Real. Nope. Don't give her the car. Somebody need to file a Freedom of Information Act to find out where the RAV4 is. Can that even be done? I don't know anything about the FOIAs, the Freedom of Information Act, but is there anything that could be filed to try and trace? Not that they would have it in writing anyway, that you'd be able to find when they have moved that vehicle and where it's gone. But this is where, hey, anybody from Manitowoc or Chilton or Calumet County, whatever, you could go to Kathleen Zellner and tell her what you know about the car. I'm sure she can keep you anonymous. Do the right thing. Turn on your blue line. You a records keeper, whatever. There's got to be people out there that know what happened to the RAV4 that you can come forward right now and go to Kathleen Zellner and tell her where that RAV4 is or when it left. Well, Shelley, but Teresa was allegedly murdered in 2005, and this was 2011 that they were given the bones. This is a long time later. Why? It's so suspicious. Yep, Corey has a deep hole with water. Corey has a deep hole with water, and so does the salvage yard. Where the RAV4 had been planted is the very furthest edge of the salvage yard. I've got pictures and video from when I went there. It's behind a pond and trees, which also goes suspect of if you were to walk into a salvage yard, you're really going to walk all the way to this farthest corner and pass by all these other cars first to get there, that you can't even see that this road is there because there's a pond and trees there. But whatever. That pond that is right there before the little road thing that the RAV4 was parked on is deep enough that you could fully submerge a car there and nobody would see it. So, you're telling me that Stephen Avery, who lives at the salvage yard, has lived there his whole life, knows this pond, knows how deep it is, if he's going to hide the car that he wasn't able to use the crusher because he didn't want to draw attention and make that noise, couldn't have just put it in that pond right there? Or, and I've got pictures and video of when I was in the quarry behind it, that also has ponds, has trees. It has big, huge, tall, evergreen trees that you could fully park a car underneath and nobody would see it. You wouldn't see it from a helicopter. Poof, it's gone. Nope. You're going to park it at the salvage yard where you live. You're going to park it going the opposite direction of all the other cars. And you're going to park it not where that car would go. Because to all of us, it's just a junkyard. They had order of that junkyard where these kinds of cars were at this part and these kinds of cars were at this part. So Teresa's RAV4 was a newer vehicle. They had a section closer up front where the newer vehicles were. So her car would never have gone there. It would have gone up by the newer vehicles. And then it's the only one that's got stuff on it, making it really stick out. Thank you, Terry, and sorry, people, that it popped back up, that I missed your comments as I'm talking. Yep, Memorial or Rally. We've got Facebook events that are here on Stephen Avery Project. The Memorial is this Friday night, and the rally is this Saturday at Stevens Prison, Waupun Correctional in Waupun, Wisconsin. The Memorial is at 8 p.m. Central Time on Friday, and the rally is at 1 p.m. on Saturday. Oh my God, Carl Wardman. So, even when you go to Kathleen Zellner's website, KathleenTZellner.com, and you click on her page for Stephen Avery, the picture she has on there is Stephen in the orange jumpsuit, cuffed. And then on his, is it his right? His right is a woman sheriff, and on his left is a man. Zoom in on that man's name tag. Wardman. Who was on his jury? Carl Wardman. So that man who was escorting Stephen in and out of court, that man's father was on his jury. Then you can Google Carl Wardman, Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department, and you'll see a picture of him with a Manitowoc County Sheriff's Community Service Officer car. It's two Smurf bags. So either side door open. So one guy on one side, one guy on the other. Carl Wardman is one of those dudes. So Carl Wardman, who is on Stephen's jury, his son is a Manitowoc Sheriff's deputy, and he was a Manitowoc County Community Service Officer. Is on Stephen's jury. So no matter what, Stephen was never going to be found innocent. At the best case scenario for him would have been a hung jury, because Carl was guilty without hearing a word. He's literally on the payroll of Manitowoc County. Infuriating, isn't it? And that is not the only person on Stephen's jury that was connected to Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department. Another person was married to a deputy. Two people affiliated with Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department on his jury. I question Jerry Buting on this because it really bothers me. And so when Jerry Buting attended one of Brendan's hearings here in Chicago, after the hearing, I talked to Buting outside for a while. And so I asked him on that. And he said the jury pool was so stacked. And now you're only given X amount of strikes. And so there were other people in that jury pool that were even worse than these two that they kicked out of the pool. So they stacked that jury that there was no way he was getting a fair trial and an impartial jury of his peers. These were people from the Manitowoc County Sheriff's Department on his jury. Only sweat is Kratz. Yeah, there is no such thing as sweat DNA. Not an expert, not a doctor. There's no such thing as sweat DNA. Now, your sweaty hands can transfer your skin cells onto something, but it's not sweat DNA. It's skin cells or whatever. But in Stephen's case, it's actually the groin swab that Dietering and Fassbender illegally took of Stevens, that they just swapped out, saying that's the hood latch evidence. Yeah, that much later, Terry. So Teresa Halbach went missing in October of 2005. 2011 is when those bones were given to the Halbach family. Pam Sturm, I've done the video. I've done twice where I've walked the Pam of God path. And am able to prove there is no way she could get to that car in the time period she did without somebody telling her where to go. Because she also talks about being afraid while she's there. She claims that they were looking in cars because they didn't know if they were looking for Teresa's body or any other kind of evidence. So how are you going to get past all these cars and all the way over there in 20 minutes? You're not. Memorial for Dolores Avery. For Stephen's mom, it's her birthday on Friday. Scrolling through comments to see if there's something I need to answer. Kratz is surprised Kratz's wife wasn't on the jury. Is he still with his daughter's sister bride? They've been silent for quite some time. Don't know why it took 6 years to and is it give those bones back when it's not even Teresa? All right, I got to the bottom of everybody's things and I've been on for an hour and a half, so I'm gonna call this one to a close. I do not know. I may go live on Thursday, but not sure yet because, like I said, I'm out of town. I leave tomorrow. I come back on Wednesday, and then I'm going to a concert Thursday night. So maybe I'll go live sometime Thursday during the day before I leave on Friday to go to Waupun. So let me end this with Memorial. We have Facebook events for this. And Christopher, we need to make events too for the 2 lives we're going to do. So people can RSVP to those lives and then get their reminders that that's happening and it's going live. So Friday night is the Dolores Memorial. Friday is her birthday. We'll be going live at 8 p.m. Central. It's currently 5 p.m. Central, so do that math for you. So we'll be going live then. And then on Saturday, we have the rally at Waupun Correctional at 1 p.m. Central. So you can find us there. We've got the Etsy shop. If you want to get your free Stephen Avery sticker, they're currently $1. After the rally, they're going up to $250 is what was said. So, and then, so Memorial Friday, rally Saturday, Tuesday next week is when I'm going to be on this podcast that will post the information on that. And Friday next week, the 27th, is when there's possibly some filing. And so I'll go live then. So that's everything. Thank you, everybody, for joining me today. Thank you, everybody, for supporting Stephen and knowing that he is innocent. And maybe we will talk Thursday. If not, I will see you all Friday night. Investigation continues.